Hi, I'm Dave Briggs, Vice President of Corporate Training for Broadridge Advisor Solutions. Early in my career as a financial advisor in Southern California, I was taught of the importance of getting good qualified referrals from some of my satisfied customers. And on one occasion, I received a very strong, helpful referral to a very successful business owner and his wife. And upon my introduction to them, I visited about some of the products and services that I could offer to them that might be of value. Ernie was the gentleman's name, and his wife was Jane. And Ernie was very interested in what I had to talk about, but he, like many of your referrals as well as mine, he was not quite ready to take next steps. So I, like you, handed Ernie my business card, and I also had presence of mind to recommend that he take receipt of a monthly newsletter that I was sending out to my clients and prospects at no cost or obligation. Ernie was happy to accept that invitation, and so for the next 6 months, I began to send these newsletters to Ernie and to his wife, Jane. Well, 5 or 6 months later, my telephone rang in my office, and as I picked up the phone, it was Ernie on the other end, and I remember Ernie saying, "Dave, this is Ernie. Do you remember me?" Well, quite honestly, I had prayed every day since the day I met him that he would call me back because he was such a big, influential prospect for me to work with. Well, he then invited myself, along with my wife, to come to his home 2 Sundays later for a Sunday afternoon dinner. I welcomed the invitation, so 2 weeks later, 2 Sundays later, my wife and I went down to his big, beautiful, spacious home. We knocked on the front door, entered in, and to my right was this very large, spacious great room. This room had large oak bookcases and beautiful leather upholstered couches, etc. And as I walked into this great room, I could see on the bookshelf that there was a white 3-ring binder that had the name Dave Briggs on the spine. It stuck out like the proverbial sore thumb. Ernie could see that I was curious about this 3-ring binder with my name on it, and so he asked me if I'd like to look inside. He handed this 3-ring binder to me, and I opened it up, and you guessed it. When I opened it up, there were all the newsletters that I had been sending for the prior 6 months. As I began to look at these newsletters that I had been sending him, I noticed something very interesting. Each and every newsletter had been marked up by highlighting or notes in the margin. It was clear to me that not only was Ernie taking receipt of these newsletters, he was reading them, studying them, and marking them. And I suppose he was very influenced by what he read in these newsletters. Now, let me share with you, I was not the author of these newsletter articles. I was subscribing to another firm's newsletters where they would write the newsletters for me, and I would put my picture and my name and contact information for anyone that might like some follow-up. Well, it was interesting because after I had opened up this binder of newsletters, his wife Jane came into the room, and I'll never forget Ernie saying, "Jane, come over here. I'd like to introduce you to Dave Briggs. He's one of the smartest people I've ever met." Again, keeping in mind that I was not the author of these newsletters that had influenced them. It was the authors that allowed me to receive the credit for it. Well, long story short, Ernie was very intrigued with the information I was sending to him, and at a point in time, he had sufficient interest as well as a sense of urgency to take next steps. He invited me to come back to him that following week in his office where we began the financial review and financial planning process. Ernie became a very important and meaningful client to me, as did his 3 sons, who also became very successful business owners in their own right. I just want to stress the importance of the need sometimes to nurture a prospect's interest. Going forward, as I look back on that, I continued to think to myself, what if I had only given Ernie my business card? I'm not sure if that business card would have made it out of the room that day. But with his acceptance of the newsletters on a monthly basis, I was continually top of mind according to the needs that became so apparent to him. And he is the one that took the next step by calling me and inviting my wife and I to dinner. I could repeat this story many times over with other clients and prospects where these newsletters maintained the meaningful contact on a frequent basis that always kept me top of mind. I hope you will consider doing the same by considering being a thought leader in the minds of your clients and prospects through the use of newsletters, both print as well as digital. Thank you so much and success to you.